If you guys came over to this channel for a happier video today, then I would suggest not watching this one. And if you're clicking over to this channel for the first time, then thanks for coming on over. I have multiple playlists of better videos than this to watch, so check those out for me and give them a like. Also, I did my hair today, looking like I did my makeup, doing some winged liner now, and I'm trying out this no bottom eyeliner thing. I'm kind of liking it. And then I'm in my pajamas still, so sorry about that. Sorry I've been gone for a while. This video will kind of explain why. I also just got back from spring break on Monday, and I apologize for the quality of the video. I really didn't feel like setting up all my camera equipment today, so I'm just recording on my MacBook, just a brief little, well, maybe it'll be brief, I'm not really sure. So as you guys know, I have a pet hedgehog. Her name is Jellybean. She is one of the best things in my life, and I love her so much. I'm gonna try and make it through this video without crying. So Jellybean has been doing okay the past couple weeks, nothing out of the ordinary. And right before I left for spring break, my dad sent me a picture of some blood that was found in her bin. She lives in a big container, and I keep some towels in there for her, and she has a wheel, a sleeping bag to sleep in, and a couple toys, her food and water. So I was a little concerned, of course, because there was blood, and that's always freaks you out. I know she's not an actual child, but as a parent of an animal, you can understand, you get a little freaked out. So I asked my dad, he's comfortable picking her up, and I asked him to just pick her up and kind of check out her body, make sure maybe she didn't poke herself on anything, or hurt her feet or anything. I don't know. She occasionally gets some ingrown quills, and I'll have to pull those, but I'm not there to pull them, so if she were to have one, of course it would bleed. That's what I thought. And her whole body was fine. There were no cuts or scratches or anything on her, and I also was kind of worried that maybe she had been curling up in a ball to kind of hide herself, and she poked her eyes. Hedgehogs do that more often than you think. That's not the owner's fault or anything if it were to happen. They just they have quills by their eyes, and sometimes they curl up and don't move their quills around their face properly, and they can poke their eyes. So I was worried that it was potentially that, and my dad said that her eyes looked fine, and there was nothing going on there. There would have been blood on her face if that were the case, and there wasn't. So I thought, maybe she just hooked her nail on the towel, or maybe her feet are really dry and they're cracked because she tends to get really dry skin. So I just reminded my dad to keep putting Vaseline on her ears and the bottoms of her feet, and her nails were cut, so there was nothing going on there. So he said it had only happened once, so I wasn't super, super concerned, but then it started happening more frequently, and the spots were getting bigger and darker in color. So after the third time that it happened, I decided to take her to the vet, and my dad and me brought her to the vet, and they weren't very concerned. We went to an exotic vet, and they were absolutely fantastic. I've never brought a pet to this vet clinic before, but I absolutely love them. I'll be taking future pets there for sure. If you live in the Chicago area and you are curious about an exotic vet, message me and I will give you the name of the vet place. So we brought her there, and the vet was absolutely amazing with her. She knew how to hold her properly, and she was just so sweet with her, and Jellybean was very, very open with her because she was so nice. She was giving her treats to help her calm down, and my hedgehog's a bit of a fatty, so she loves treats and food, and that got her to calm down really quickly. So they took her in the back to run some tests. We had to fast her overnight, so that they could take blood, and I was really nervous about that because she was so crabby, not having food, and she was making noises that I've never heard come out of her before, and I guarantee it was because she was wondering where her food was. And my heart was breaking for her because I felt awful not giving her food and she didn't understand why. But they took blood and then they waited for her to pee and poop just so that they could test her poop and make sure nothing was going on in her GI tract. And they noticed that there was blood in her pee. So they diagnosed her with a UTI, and that's very common in female hedgehogs. And hedgehogs have a lot of kidney problems, especially African pygmies, so this was not like a huge concern. They gave me a pain medication for her and an antibiotic and kind of sent us home and said come back in a week and we'll check and see how everything's doing. A week goes by and the blood is going away, which is really great. It was looking really, really hopeful. And we brought her back to the vet and they waited for her to pee. There was less red blood cells in her urine, which is really good, but the bacteria count did not decrease. So she was put on a stronger antibiotic. The vet was hopeful because the blood was going away in her pee. So that was a really good sign because they were worried about were kidney stones or kidney cancer. For hedgehogs, cancer is very, very common, especially in African pygmies because they are like a genetically modified hedgehog. African pygmies are not found in the wild. They're bred in captivity. So, of course, like dogs, when you crossbreed dogs too many times, they can have genetic problems. Well, for hedgehogs, it's getting cancer. So that was a concern, but to factor all of this in, money was a huge issue, of course, because I'm only a college student and an x-ray for her would have been around $800, let alone a surgery over $1,000. So that just would not be an option if anything, if she were to be that sick or anything. So my dad continues giving her medication and she's being completely normal the whole time. She's still eating and drinking. She's still running on her wheel, being her normal self. So we're not concerned that she's in pain or anything. She's not in pain. We have her on a pain medication still, and she's still on an antibiotic to help with the bacteria. So we know she isn't in pain. I went to my dad's over spring break. I was taking her out to play for the night, and she was peeing, and there was no blood or anything, no concern. But I noticed that she was walking funny. And I thought that maybe it was because I had given her a bath and I just cut her nails and maybe her feet were sensitive or something. But it was a walk that I had never noticed before when I've had her. I've had her for about 2.5 years now. So she's 2.5 about. So I was kind of watching her and then she started falling over. Sorry. She started falling over when she was walking or just standing still, and that was a huge concern for me because hedgehogs get wobbly hedgehog syndrome, and wobbly hedgehog syndrome is basically MS for hedgehogs. They cannot control their balance and they eventually lose their function, their walking function, and they can no longer walk or eat and drink on their own. So you'll eventually have to put them down so that they're not suffering. So I was a little concerned watching her walking and then falling over. So I brought her back to the vet again, and I had the vet do an observation on her for a day. And they determined that she has wobbly hedgehog syndrome. So not only does she have the UTI still, she basically has MS. And I know this may seem stupid to you guys that I'm upset about this, but when you have an animal that you're that close to for such a long period of time and you care for that animal and you love that animal, it's hard knowing that she is going to lose all function eventually. So I asked the vet what my options were, and she basically said just to make her comfortable for the next couple months that she'll be alive, and that's all I can really do. Eventually, she won't be able to walk, and I'll have to feed her baby food through a syringe, which I don't mind doing as long as she's not in pain. I'm not going to put her down unless I know that she's hurting and she can't do it anymore. I'm not going to put her down now knowing that she has it, because she still has a very good quality of life. But the vet did say that she does have this, and that she has about 6 months before everything takes its toll on her body and she can no longer live. This is very, very hard news for me to hear, because I had heard of all these people who have had hedgehogs and their hedgehogs have gotten it, and I've thought, you know, wow, I'm so lucky that Jellybean is healthy and that she's okay. But now, knowing that she has this, I know I only have a little bit of time left with her. Of course, I'm sad about it, but I'm basically just going to take it a day at a time and see how she does. Right now, she's still running on her wheel and playing and everything, but there's the occasional fall, and I'm just worried that she's going to fall and hurt herself one day. So when she comes out for playtime at my dad's house, she's monitored very, very closely by my stepmom and my dad, and I can't thank them enough for taking care of her and giving her medicine every day while I'm at school, because if I didn't have them, I probably would have had to give her away a long time ago. So that's what's been going on right now, and why I really haven't been super active on YouTube, because I'm trying to deal with that and kind of figure out a plan of action of what I should do, and kind of researching this disease more to know how long I have with her, and what her quality of life is going to be like in a month, 2 months, things like that. So I didn't mean to make this a depressing video. I'm sorry. I apologize for that, but I really needed to vent, and you guys are who I vent to, and I wanted to put it out there. So if you guys want to send positive thoughts my way, that would be great. Jellybean is totally okay right now. I wouldn't keep her around if she was having a poor quality of life. I wouldn't do that to her. It's going to be devastating when I have to put her down, but I would not let her suffer, no matter how much I want her to stay around. So I know that. I've accepted that. If you sat through this whole video, thank you and congratulations. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the love and support that I'm getting from my family and my friends right now. And like I said, I know it seems silly that I'm this upset over a hedgehog, but she has been in my life for 2 years, and I've taken care of her and basically raised her. So it's kind of like having a really, really small dog is how I could put it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!